Okay, Dr. McDonough, you want to announce for the record
Yes, sir.
that you're
Dr.
here?
James Eric McDonough. I'm the pro se plaintiff.
Okay, Judge will be with you in just a minute.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you ask the judge if I can have permission to record the hearing? My name is Grad Sturm, I'm a journalist. I put in the request through Eunice Singler. She said that she sent it off to the court, but we haven't heard back.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Happy Friday.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Mr. Stern, I don't have a problem you recording. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I responded. I may have forgotten to respond. I don't know if my Jay responded or not.
It's all good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Usually give you that opportunity. Okay, so we're here on the alternate writ of mandamus. I have the writ from the plaintiff, and I have the response from the defendant, the city. Is there anything else you want to say, Mr. McDonough?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Mr. Zeskind in his response makes a singular argument that mandamus can't be ordered for an action that's already occurred. Legally, I would agree with him on that. However, the city's claim that they produced me all records is patently and demonstrably false. And I can prove this to you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Seskind?
Yes, Your Honor. So it was my understanding that there's not a dispute over whether or not all the records had been produced at this point. In my communications prior to the hearing with Dr. McDonough, the issue that was raised was not a lack of production, but instead the redactions within the videos themselves that have been produced, which I think is a separate issue. If that's the issue that Dr. McDonough is speaking about, then I'm happy to discuss that and let Your Honor know the city's position with respect to that. But if there's another outstanding issue in terms of documents Dr. McDonough claims have not been produced, that those haven't been identified. I'm not aware of what he believes hasn't been produced at this point.
Doctor?
Your Honor, Mr. Zeskind is somewhat correct. There are two issues. One issue I'm arguing is that the body camera footage that was produced was unlawfully redacted. That was one request. There's two requests that are subject to this action. The second request I filed on May 23rd, I asked for the accident report, the supplemental accident reports, and any charging documents. On June 9th, the city provided me a copy of the A form, which is the charging document. I immediately replied and demanded they produce the accident report and the supplemental reports. On June 10th, the city responded and claimed the accident reports and supplemental reports were still exempt. However, Your Honor, under Florida Statute 316.066-2A, motor vehicle crash reports are only confidential and exempt from Florida Statute 119 for a period of 60 days after the report is filed, and the accident report was filed on February 13th, 2021. Further, Your Honor, it's recently come to my attention that a copy of the traffic report has been published on the police department's website for more than a year, even though they continue to claim that it is exempt. I can show you a copy of the traffic report if you want. I don't need that because I've got it now, even though the city unlawfully withheld it. But the supplemental reports, which would include things such as pictures, statements of witnesses, scale drawing of the accident scene, have never been produced to me, Your Honor.
Dr. McDonough, have you seen Exhibit 3 to the city's response?
There's a supplemental report to his
Your Honor,
response. Yes.
right before the deadline for Mr. Zeskind to respond to the alternate writ, the city produced me a set of documents. Those documents are the offense incident reports. Those are not responsive to my request. I never asked for those. I'm glad the city provided things I didn't ask for, but the city has not provided what I explicitly asked for.
Okay, Mr. Seskan, do you know what he actually asked for?
So this is the first I'm hearing of the fact that there's a traffic report that he claims should have been produced and wasn't by the city. That was not raised. It's certainly not raised in the petition, and it wasn't raised in the correspondence leading up to it. So, if Dr. McDonough wants to identify what that record is for me, if it's in the city's possession, there's no issue producing that. This is the first I'm hearing that is missing leading up to today's hearing. So, if Dr. McDonough wants to share the document which he says he already has in his possession,
no, he says he doesn't have it.
If he's no longer seeking it, I don't know what
he says he doesn't have it in his possession.
Can I clarify? In
Yes.
my second request, I asked for 3 sets of records. The traffic accident report 1, the supplemental accident reports 2, the charging document 3. They've given me the charging document 3. I was able to obtain the traffic report 1 on my own. The supplemental accident reports 2 have not been produced, Your Honor.
And their supplemental reports to what?
Pardon?
Their supplemental reports to which?
It's supplemental traffic accident reports, Your Honor. Under Florida statute and Florida law,
I just want to make sure that
there would be a scale drawing of the scene. I have video evidence that the police officers were taking pictures. I have video evidence that they were flying a drone, and they've admitted they took pictures with that. All of that would be in the supplemental accident reports and has not been provided, Your Honor. And I take issue with Mr. Zeskine's claim that this was not raised in the petition. This was absolutely raised in the petition.
Mr. Zeskine, if to the extent that they exist, okay, to the extent that they exist, I'm granting the writ for those reports to the extent that they exist.
And Your Honor, if they don't exist, I can have a witness sign on and testify as to whether or not those documents exist. If you like,
you have it right now. You have it right now. You can put it on.
I have to make a quick phone call, and I could get someone on to talk about whether or not those exist. My understanding is that they don't, but I can have a witness
Right.
sign on and testify. So that's one issue, and we can address that then. The other issue with respect to do you want to address that first and then get to the redactions? Because the redactions are definitely not in the petition. Those were redacted based on Marcy's law, which is not an issue that's in the petition. So therefore, and it's not an issue in the alternative writ. So therefore, the city's not had a chance to brief the issue on the application of Marcy's law yet, which I'd like the opportunity to do. And submit a supplemental memorandum on that issue.
Let's take this one at a time. Let's get the witness on.
Sure. All right. Give me one moment, Your Honor. Sorry about that, Your Honor. I should be on in a second.
If I could, Your Honor, while we're waiting, if I just make a couple of comments.
Okay.
With respect to the redaction of video, that was not placed into the petition because when I filed the petition, the city was just outright unlawfully refusing to produce the records. They produced the records on the eve of filing their petition for their response to the alternate writ. And so there wasn't anything I could do after they filed their response to the alternate writ. If I go and amend the complaint now, it mutes everything. We sit here and drag this on for months. And I want to get my records as soon as possible. There's families. There's 3 dead children. The family members, including